Good day, everyone. This is our final video lecture for the whole semester in academic reading and writing. I hope you guys will listen. The topic is purposeful professional writing. We are finished with purposeful writing, academic writing, where we talked about, or I talked about, the academic papers, article critique, book review, literature review, research report, project proposal, and position paper. This time I am going to teach you how to write professionally in order for you to survive in the professional world of what? College or work. So in here we are going to talk about, or I'm going to talk to you regarding application for college admission, resume, application for employment, professional correspondences, how to write them, and what to include in the content. Okay, let's start with application for college admission. What do you need to know about this type of professional writing? First, I don't know of any colleges here in Bohol who needs you to write a letter for an application letter for college admission. From what I know, in Baisu, they're going to ask you to take an exam, and if you pass, you can study there, right? In Holy Name University, I don't think you need to pass an exam, just the EPT. In University of Bohol, just the EPT as well. Mater College, just the EPT. That's it. When I applied for, well, I didn't actually apply. When I went to study in Holy Name University and Mater College, it did not ask me to send an application letter. This only happens in the movies, I guess. If you've seen some movies based on the states in the US, most of the colleges and universities there ask the applicants to send in an application letter for college admissions. So what happens is that you send a letter applying for that college and stating your course, and then basically selling yourself so that they will accept you. If they don't accept you, then you have to apply to a different college. That's what usually happens from what I know. But here in Bohol, we don't do it, the application thing. However, if you want to apply to a school in the States, then you'll need to learn how to write this particular application letter. So what is included here? This is a type of formal letter written to seek admission to a college or university, sometimes specifically stating his or her or your intended course. So you're going to say that my name is Michelle Shao and I want to study in this university with this particular course in mind. So the main purpose is to impress the college admissions officers, because they have people for this who reads your letter and are going to evaluate you according to what you said in your letter about what your personality, your educational background, your extracurricular achievements, and other relevant strengths and skills. One should aim to stand out because there are thousands of other applicants. Leave a good impression, especially if you apply to an Ivy League school, high-end schools like Harvard and stuff like that. You need to make sure that what you write in your application letter is something unique and fresh that no one has ever written before, because these admissions officers, they have read thousands and thousands of letters. You need to stand out in order for you to get accepted. And by standing out, I mean you also need to have your educational background, extracurricular achievements, and other relevant strengths and skills. You need to include them. Selling yourself, that's what I said. What are the guidelines in writing a college application letter? Number one, indicate why you want to attend this particular school. Maybe you can say, I would like to attend this school because my parents went here. They actually met and fell in love here in your lobby. Or you can say that you're a legacy. Maybe you can also include that you want to study here because you believe that what you are looking for in a school is in this particular university, and what they're looking for in a student is basically you. That's how you do it. Number two, state your academic interests. So maybe you can say that since this is a performing arts school and I am very interested in theater and learning how to stage a play, direct a play, maybe be an actor in a play, dance in a play, sing in a play, this is why I want to study here. Number 3, express how the school is a good fit for your academic interests and long-term goals. Right, long-term, you want to graduate here and then take up a master's degree here as well. So that's your long-term goal. And then maybe, perform using this connection. Number 4, describe your academic achievements and other particular interests. So what are your achievements? Since this is a performance school, theater arts, what are your achievements in theater? It has to be in context, right? You don't say, I was most punctual when I was in elementary. That is not in context. It's not relevant to your application. What do we care about your punctuality, right? We just need you to state your maybe awards, your experience in theater maybe, your experience in a musical that has happened, that was staged in your previous middle school. So you include those achievements and interests to make sure that it is aligned to the college that you're applying for. Number 5, mention any connections you have to the school. As I mentioned earlier, you can mention that you're a legacy and they're just going to accept you. Be concise and straightforward. Don't beat around the bush. Just say, I want to be or study in this college because blah, 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 blah. Just state your reasons. Use simple language. Don't attempt to impress them with your vocabulary. Okay? Whatever you have is already fine. So here are the parts of an application letter for admission. First part is the recipient. So you put in who is going to receive your letter, who is going to read your letter. The admissions officer's name, for example, Dr. Michelle M. Shao, the address of the college, University of Bohol. And then your name, okay? For example, Mr. Ben Maglahos. And then your address. Your address is Tagbila, Dr. Siliputong Street, Tagbilaran City. Date, put in the date, December, what's today? I have no idea. 2020. And then salutation. Dear Miss Shao. Or you can say Ma'am Shao. Madam. And then colon. Introduction. You introduce yourself and state the reason why you are applying for admission to the school. And you also highlight some of the characteristics you admire about that school. Okay? In the body, you explain further why the school needs to accept you as a student. You highlight your dreams and your abilities that are related to your desired outcome. And then conclusion, you state your desire to be accepted in the school and mention that you have attached the important documents, and do not forget to thank the admissions officer. Include your contact information such as your phone number or email address in order for them to be able to call you back. And then complimentary close, yours truly, and then your name, Ben Maglahos, and then your signature. That's it. Very easy, right? I'm not going to elaborate more about this because, as I mentioned, we don't actually need to do it here in the Philippines, right? Next, we have the resume. This is something that we do here in our country. So if you're going to apply for a job, you need to make sure that you know how to write a resume. Most of my students who just graduated senior high school, they have jobs now. They're holding jobs in IBEX. I'm pretty sure they had to write an application letter and a resume in order for them to get accepted. So if you want to apply for a job, you need to listen to me while I talk about resumes. So what is a resume? It is a document intentionally created to present one's personal background, academic achievements, skills, and accomplishments, mainly for the purpose of applying for a certain position in a company. So this is what you write apart from the application letter or cover letter. That's going to inform them why you are the best fit for this particular company, why you're going to become an employee. It can be regarded as a self-advertisement. You're still selling yourself, which contains your selling points as prospective employers go through it to verify if you would initially qualify for the position you're applying for. What are they going to look at? They're going to look at your educational background. They're going to look at your experience. They're going to look at your awards and achievements and stuff like that, to make sure that you are fully qualified. Styles used in writing a resume. We have the reverse chronological style, the functional style, and the combination style. What's the difference between the styles? The first one, reverse chronological style, details about your history or relevant experiences. They are arranged from the most recent going back. So if you're going to put in your experience, you start with 2020, and then 2019, and then 2018, and so on and so on. This is the most commonly used style, especially when applying for a job similar to your previous work. So when I applied in University of Bohol, I actually used the reverse chronological style in my resume. So I included my most recent experience. I was teaching in Manatee College, and then below that, working as a customer service representative in JP Morgan Chase, and then that's it. I just graduated. Number 2, we have functional style. Focuses on your experiences, skills, and abilities rather than work history. So it highlights your professional capabilities as a person relevant to the job. It's typically used by freshmen because they don't have work experiences. So if you're a freshman, you highlight or you focus more on your experience, maybe with your on-the-job training, your internship, your skills, your abilities, maybe achievements, because you don't have a experience yet. Number 3 is the combination style. The combination style is a combination of the two. It focuses on skills and abilities of a person arranged in a chronological manner, starting from the most recent up until the last. The skills and experiences are presented first before the employment history. So if you're going to use the combination style, you present first your skills and experiences before your employment history. Typically used when applying for a higher position. Why? Because if you're applying for a higher position, it means it's a, lateral promotion. If you're going to want to be promoted, you need to include, your abilities, why you are the best suited, why you're best suited for a managerial position instead of just a customer service representative or something like that. Why you're best suited for principal instead of just an ordinary teacher. Okay, before putting in your work experience. So that's it. Reverse chronological style, functional style, and combination style. Next, we have guidelines in writing effective resumes. Number 1, create a brainstorming list of your experiences, skills, achievements, and references. In my case, with my resume, which is very updated, by the way, you need to update your resume even though you're not thinking about applying for a different job. You just need to update it so that you don't forget, okay? So that you don't need to do number 1 anymore. So put in your experiences, on the job, maybe, internship, maybe, your skills that is, of course, relevant to the job that you're applying for. You cannot apply for a teacher and then say that you know how to sing, okay, because it's not relevant to the position. Does a teacher need to be able to sing? No, it's not a requirement, and therefore you shouldn't include it. Your achievements, maybe best intern, something to do with the job. And then your references, something to do with the job as well. Maybe your previous manager, maybe your principal when you graduated, dean, your favorite teacher, the president of the school where you graduated. So those are your references. Number 2, consider what needs to be included or excluded in your resume. As I've mentioned earlier, if it's not relevant to the job that you're applying for, you do not include it, okay? Number 3, be concise. It has to be as short as possible. To be honest, my resume is just 1 page of short 1 paper. I was able to put in everything there. Very concise. That does not mean that I don't have experience, because I do. It's just that I did not include all the irrelevant experiences. 4, do not include personal information such as health status, like I'm very healthy. You don't say that. Your birth date, that's not necessary. We don't need to know that. And your favorite food, no, don't include that either. As I've mentioned, only the relevant information. 5, be honest, but avoid writing any negative information about you, okay? By being honest, we need to say that everything that you included in your resume has to be true. However, if they're going to ask you for strengths and weaknesses, make sure that you don't, sell yourself short. As I've mentioned earlier, in a resume, in any form of application, basically, you need to include your selling points, okay? You need to sell yourself. You cannot sell yourself if you write something negative about yourself, right? So if it's negative, but they want you to be honest, just don't include it. It's omission. Next, use easy font style. So these are the regular font styles that we normally use. The Arial, the Times New Roman, and Calibri. In my case, in your modules, I ask you to use Times New Roman. However, not everyone follows that. I'm not sure why. And the size, font size is 10.5 to 12. 12 for me. Proofread. Of course, you need to proofread. What is proofread? It means you need to go over all the things that you have written so far in order to make sure that all the information is accurate. And then update. This is what I said earlier. It needs to be updated even if you're not looking for a job. It just needs to be updated.